It's that time again. Welcome to Settled on the Field, a bird's eye view of the sports landscape. From travel sports, high school athletics, recruiting, NIL and walk-ons, on down to Little League. Join us on a rocket ship to the next level. Welcome to Settled on the Field. Welcome to the day after daylight savings time episode about all things basketball. So, how are you guys feeling today after losing that hour of sleep?
I'm whooped to go ahead.
I'm ready to hoop it up. Let's get it.
I'm still ready to hoop, but I'm tired, man. So, hey, let's get it going.
Yeah, I'm a fan of getting rid of the falling back or springing forward. I don't care which one you pick, just pick one. Let's move on with our lives. Okay.
I second that.
All right. So today we're going to talk about, we're going to start off with the IHSAA matchups. And I think, let me share my screen. We got a little bit of, we're going to start out with the 1A matchups. What do we got?
So the IHSAA semi-states are this coming weekend here in Indiana. Basically what they've done is they've made it so there's more regional champions. So in the past there was a three-game regional with 4 teams. Now they do a 2-team regional, and you have champions out of the regional, and then the semi-state is a matchup of 4 teams to see who can play the best in 2 games in a day to advance to the state championship.
Okay, I was noticing that seemed a little different to me. So this is the first year for that.
Second or third.
Oh, second year.
Yeah, it's been a couple years now. The other unique thing this year is since Indianapolis is hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament, the semi-state is this weekend, then they're going to be off for a weekend, and then the following weekend will be the state championships down in Indianapolis. So 2 weeks of anticipation for a state championship, that would just drive me crazy.
That would drive me crazy, too. I think the one thing I would change would be not having these 2 games on the same day. You have 2 weeks to do it. I don't think you need to have it a week later, maybe the next day, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no reason to play it all in one day. You could even do Friday night to Saturday night. But this is the way they do it, so we're going to talk about what's coming up, starting with the 1A Northern Semi-State at Michigan City in the Wolves Den. First game, 10 a.m. Central Time, so you got to check your clocks, just like you guys really want to always do here around this time of year.
What do we do? Spring forward, back? What was it?
We did something. We're springing into Liberty Christian, 17-9s, taking on Marquette Catholic. Marquette Catholic, 12-15. So if they can get to the state championship, they're going to be 500. Excuse me, just under 500.
Just under. That's
14
awesome.
and 15. So Marquette Catholic is the underdog there at their basically home semi-state. The noontime Central is Elkhart Christian versus Fort Wayne Canterbury. Elkhart Christian advanced to the semi-state on a last-second lay-in by Aiden Hibbard. He scored 32 points in the regional final. He's averaging 22.6. So Elkhart Christian and Fort Wayne Canterbury is the second game of the day. And the winners come back that night at 7:30 in Michigan City for the 1A North Semi-State Championship game. But it's all about the South in 1A. The South Semi-State has the number 1, 2, 3, and 5 ranked 1A teams.
Whew, that's strong.
So we're looking at the first game is 5 versus 3 at 10 a.m. It's Greenwood Christian versus Bethesda Christian out of Brownsburg. They're both looking, for the way to get into the championship game. And it's 1 versus 2 in the afternoon, the 11:45 start for the second game down in Washington at the Hatchet House. Evansville Christians 24-2 playing Bar Reeves, who's 24-2. Evansville's led by Josiah Durham. He's averaging 23. And then Bar Reeves has 3 guys in double digits, and they're all averaging right around 11 points. Donnie Miller, Seth Wassler, and Braden Knapp. So that's your 1A North and South semi-states. Jumping right into the 2A semi-state in the north at Lafayette Jeff at the Marion Crowley Center. 10 a.m. Eastern start. North Judson knocked off Gary 21st Century Scholars. And that was at North Judson. It was a huge upset in the 2A as Gary was looking really good. They were a top 5 team. So North Judson's going to take on Wapahani, who's 24-2. In the second game, it's number 14 Wabash, 21-5 versus number 3 Fort Wayne Blackhawk. Fort Wayne Blackhawks led by Kellen Pickett. He's averaging a double-double, 20-12. I always like mentioning these guys that are double-double guys.
The double-double. Got one a little bit later for 4A.
There we go. Wabash is kind of unique as we talk about team concepts. 8 to 9 deep. They got 5 seniors. Isaiah Wright is averaging 15. Trevor Doherty's averaging 14. And Grant Ford's averaging 13. So Wabash is a deep squad and they have to take on number 3 Fort Wayne Blackhawk. Then down in the Indy Southport, at the Southport Fieldhouse, number 4 Park Tutors taking on number 1 Brownstown Central. Their Park Tutors 20-5, Brownstown Central's 25-4. In the second game, it's Forest Park and Park Heritage, and Park Heritage is number 13 in the state. They're 23-5. So that should be a good little matchup there at Southport. They come back in the evening for the 8 o'clock championship game. 7:30 championship game at the Lafayette Jeff. So that's the 2A semi-state matchup. Let's head over to Liz for the 3A.
All right, heading on over, we are going to talk a little bit about Guerin Catholic. Of course, we heard about their crazy game last week, and they won again. They took down George Washington of Indianapolis 56-39. They were led by Robert Sorensen with 19 points and Dylan Morans with 13 points. So George Washington ends their season. They were on a hot streak. They ended 15-13, so they really ended that season on a high note for them. So great season for you guys. Over to, we have in that same field house, the Lloyd E. Scott Gymnasium, Evansville Boss will take on Scottsburg, and Scottsburg has been on fire. They call their gym the pressure cooker. They were under a lot of pressure to win this game. There's a lot of titles down there in Scottsburg, so they're ready to go. And Evansville has been on fire since they had a transfer from Kokomo just back in December. He transferred down. His name's A.P. Mitchell. He ended up really stepping up this past game. He had 19 points and 10 boards in the regional. He's not even, their go-to guy, generally speaking. Teray Howell got double, triple teamed. Only ended up with 10 points. But his team stepped up for him. Chris Glover ended up with 16 points. So we're looking at Evansville Boss. I'm looking at them to be a tough one to take down by Scottsburg. And then we head on over to Delta. Delta, their player, Damari Hood, I want to make sure I'm saying that right. Diamari Hood, he surpassed 1,000 points in his regional for Delta on Saturday.
Chalking him up.
So, what a record to break. They'll face Fairfield over there at the Logansport Berry Bowl. And St. Joe will take on Peru over there at that same Berry Bowl. They're the morning game, 10 a.m. St. Joe is 18-9. Versus Peru, 16-10, should chalk up to be a good game.
And the St. Joe Huskies are on a little bit of a tear. I know Jace Lee had 3 pretty nice dunks, including we got a picture of his big thunder dunk here. Look at that. He is
Look at that.
skying.
The dude is up there, kiss the rim style.
That is a bad photo. That is an awesome photo right there.
I mean, that's something you
Had to
got to
show
have
it.
on your wall in your basement. I mean,
That's
over
a
your
Michael
mantle.
Jordan dunk right
That's
there.
what I said. Kiss the rim. Gives you a fat head made out of that.
Yeah, boy.
He's going to play center field for the Irish. He's a senior now, but he's
What do we got in 4A?
All right, so in 4A, up in Elkhart at the Northside Gym, Crown Point 20-5, their first regional championship since 1998. They get to take on the number one Fishers squad, 26-1. Fishers, they just knocked off Kokomo, sent Mr. Badunga packing. They're led by Tayden Metzger, one of the three-point specialists. That's going to be at the 10 a.m., so that's an early start. A lot of people got Fishers going a long way. I did read an article about they were up by about 12. Kokomo started on the comeback, and they threw it forward to the front court to Tayden Metzger in the corner. Badunga was closing out on him, and he busted a three. And, of course, they've given him the green light all year, and even in the article said, it's great that he's got that confidence, but I will challenge you to maybe run some more of the clock when you're up by 12 in the fourth quarter, because that's going to come down to haunt you if you just catch the ball and shoot it within 2 seconds. Keep knocking them down, though, Tayden. All right, the next game up there is Fort Wayne. They're going to be playing against Mishawaka. Fort Wayne is 22-3, number 10 in the state. They're the favorites, but Mishawaka is on a roll. This Mishawaka squad, they've won the regionals the first time since 1955. So kudos to Coach Bodie Bender up there. They've been led by several seniors, but Brady Fisher's poured in 51 points over the last 3 games. He had that double-double against Adams. Messed around, got a dub, 21 and 11. That was the other game. But 7 of their players get a lot of time. They're senior heavy, and they like to hustle. So they play good D. They have a good stretch of defense, and they had 37 total rebounds in their last game in the win. So I'm looking for Mishawaka to keep their streak going.
Mishawaka's got a little 5th grader that comes out dressed as a caveman, leads them out on the court.
Nice. Aw.
Bam.
I'd like to. We need a video of that one.
Bam leading those cavemen out.
We need to get someone on that.
Well, hopefully they'll be in the championship game. That's going to be 7:30 over there at Northside Gym. All right, so in the South is heavy. They're the heavy hitters. You got the 2, 3, 6, and 8 ranked teams in the South. But this is going to be played at Newcastle. So the Newcastle Fieldhouse was where Kokomo and Fishers just played. It was packed. They bring 9,500 plus. It's an awesome venue. The first game there at 10 a.m. is going to be Center Grove against Ben Davis. This, like I said, number 8 versus number 3. Rivals down here in several sports. 21-4, 21-5. The big boys are going to be banging, and I don't have any comments on their players because we're going to hear a lot about them. One of those, I believe, will be looking to try to come out of this semi-state, but we'll see, because in the second game, you've got number 6 Jeffersonville coming up from the south, the only one that's going to have to make a little bit of a trip, come up to play Lawrence North, number 2, who's 25-3. Wow. I think Lawrence North is probably the favorite, but let me tell you about these Jeffersonville. They've got 2 juniors who lead the way. They've got Mr. Cooper, averaging 16.4 points per game. He's 6'3", and is their guard. And they got and that's Michael Cooper. And then they got Trey Singleton as a forward, who he's 6'8". He's a powerful force down low. He's got 61% from the floor, so he's getting shots close to the hoop. He's averaging 7 rebounds, even get some assists. They're a balanced attack. So Jeffersonville might give him a good game, but I think Lawrence North pulls this one out. But we'll find out who moves on to Gainsbridge Fieldhouse there at 8 p.m. when they play. That's what I think about 4A. Hey, this is Krug, just reminding you to stay tuned for upcoming walk-on workouts and other micro challenges. Follow us on settledonthefield.com. You can find us on TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, the gram. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Substack. I'm going to see you out on the field. Better yet, we're going to settle it on the field. SettleItOnTheField.com. Hashtag. Follow that at wow wow.
All right, so let's talk some deep Final Four. So the
All right.
women, 2024 Women's Division III Final Four is this Thursday, March 14th at the Capitol Center Performance Arena in Columbus, Ohio. And the first game at 5 p.m. is going to be Smith versus Wartburg. And then the next game is going to be NYU versus Transylvania, and then the winners of those games will meet on March 16th for the championship game.
Hey, real quick, Jeb. Hold on, Jeb. Look at what you're looking at there. If you can see this, is our selections. As you can see, we did not do so well, but I got Transylvania still alive, so I'm rolling with them.
And I got NYU. Me and Jeb both got NYU, so I'm changing my choice.
Wait.
To NYU.
So if I'm looking at this correctly,
you got two alive.
I got two alive. I got two right. And so if I get NYU right, that'll be 3. I can't be beat if NYU beats Transylvania.
Basically, you have pretty much won this mini bracket here.
If
Transylvania's about to run the table.
If Transy wins it, all right, you're right. But and I will say, Transy, they got 5 girls scoring in the double digits, so they're on.
Yep, Asia Thornton leads them. She had a double in their last game, 16 points, 11 boards. NYU's Bella Pelliccia went for 15 and 9 in their Elite 8 championship. They have 8 girls that scored, and all 12 girls for NYU played in the regional championship.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the other game, Jaden Murphy, she was 5 from 9 from deep and had 23 points for Wartburg. And Jessie Refner was 27 points, 13 boards. And Sophia Rosa also had a double-double with 10 and 10. And that was the closest game of the Elite 8. So they had to, Smith only won by 5. So all the other games were pretty big blowouts. And we're on to the Final Four, Smith versus Wartburg, and then NYU versus Transylvania.
Final Four is here.
Final Four Thursday. We'll know. Good luck, ladies.
Let's
see how we did in the men's. Let's see how we did. 1 second. A little better. I still didn't do as good, but we all have Trine alive, so Trine is, looking good for all of us. Sorry. So Trine was down as much as 14 to Wisconsin Platteville even in the second half. They worked their way back. Drew Moore, Fred Garland, and Cortez Garland all had double digits to get them into OT. And Cortez Garland hit that buzzer beater right there to win 88-86 in overtime. So they're going on to the Final Four.
Yeah, these games are a lot closer for the men's.
Yeah, a lot closer, yeah. So, hey, I've not been hiding it. I'm cheering on those. I'm cheering on the Trine Thunder.
You've been You've been quite thunderous. But I picked Hamden, Cindy, and Trine. I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards trying to come out, and maybe they'll face each other. So I'll have to make a choice then, because that old.
You've been very thunderous for Trine, but I'm the only one that picked them to win it all.
I know. I'm just seeing that. What was I thinking? I was be a what's the word I'm looking for? The underdog. I'm always going
pulling for the underdog.
But Trine is the underdog now, so we're rooting for you, Thunder.
That's right.
Billy,
they should.
Christopher Newport, they're the defending champs. They got beat. Guilford's Tyler Dearman scored with 4 seconds left.
Yeah, they got a little taste of their own medicine from last year. Got knocked off in the last shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne. See if that's not home court advantage for those Trine Thunder.
Yeah, that might be a little home court advantage about what 45 minutes away from their school.
And they also play Thursday with the championship Saturday, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of crowd Trine can get down there for their game.
There you go.
Okay, you just want me to start over?
Yep.
Start with Bevo.
Bill, do we have a Bevo Francis update?
The Bevo Francis Award will be cut down to 25 on March 15th, and then they're going to follow up with the winner on April 8th, the day of the eclipse.
Sweet. So also the day of the NCAA Division I championship finals. So big day for basketball. Wrap it all up.
Well,
Nice
and
and
not
tidy.
only today, but also on April 5th, Bevo Francis scored again.
He's still racking them up.
He is lighting it up.
He is just lighting it up left and right. I think, well, those are some great games where, all of March, part of April, March Madness is in full effect. We will look forward to those, to that selection show on Sunday. And why don't I pass it over to you, Jeb, for the rule of the day. Well,
Get out your rule books. Today we're talking about inbound location. So it's a rule of emphasis. It's a slight rule change. Basically what they've done is they've designated 4 spots on the sidelines, 2 on each side, and then also 2 spots underneath the basket. So whenever there's an infraction that occurs in the front court, the offensive, the attacking end, the inbounds location is going to come to one of these 4 spots. The 2 underneath the basket, well, not necessarily underneath the basket, 3 foot out from the lane underneath the basket on both sides, and then on each side of the court at the 28-foot line. Basically what they've done is any foul or infraction that occurs outside of, as you're looking at the screen, there's a little triangle that comes out to the lane from the corner. So any foul that occurs in the lane or in the free throws, what do we want to call that?
Extended wing.
Right. Well, no, not if it's on the extended wing, then you're talking it's going to be a side out of bounds at the 28-foot line. Anything in the lane or in the going towards the basket along the baseline, that'll be inbounds underneath the basket. So basically, they're just trying to eliminate having the ball all over the court. If the ball is knocked out of bounds, then it is where it is. But anytime there's an infraction or a jump ball or a delay in the game, we're going to go to one of those 4 inbound spots.
I was going to say, until you said that knocked out of bounds thing, I saw an inbounds this weekend that was basically the corner, and it was on the baseline, but not far from the corner at all. And I've never seen an inbounds from there, at least not that I could recall.
Yeah, I believe when it's in the corner, it's got to be either designated to the baseline side of it or the sidelines. There definitely shouldn't be a ball coming from the corner.
all right. So that's.
But they're basically, the reasoning behind this is so that you don't get situations where the referee is given an inbound spot along the sidelines and the offensive player then comes over to that spot and he kind of slides closer to the baseline or closer to midcourt. The ball's always going to be at the 28-foot line or just underneath the basket on each side of the lane. So now you have a designated location. When coaches are setting plays, they don't have any flexibility for that player as he's about to get the ball from the ref to slide and gain an advantage. They just wanted to have 4 set locations in the front court.
All right, thank you for the rule of the day. And for your recruiting tip today, I'm actually going to give you a must not do today. So I've been giving you some must do's. Today, we're talking must not do. And so a few episodes ago, I talked about start planning your camps for the summer. Start planning, planning out a couple camps you can go to. Maybe you go to a mega camp. Maybe you go to the school you really want to go to their camp if they have one. A lot of times they will. But one thing I want you to not do, or I want you to at least research the camps that you're getting invited to. So many times you might get an invite from a coach and might be like a bigger school, or it might be, and it'll be $350 or something kind of outrageous when it comes to the pricing. So camps shouldn't cost probably more than maybe $100. If you're going to a school camp, on average, those are around $50 or $60. The mega camps are right around there. So there are some, I don't want to call them, I'm not saying that you won't get exposure if you go to them. I don't want to say that. But there are so many camps that cost around that $50 to $60, maybe $100, that you don't need to go to these camps that are $350. And they're kind of selling you on the wow factor. Oh, we're going to have a coach from this big school that's coming. Or, there's going to be 3 different parts to the day, and you could pay $150 for this and $150 for this. And if you pay for both of those, then you get this, those are from all the things I've heard from coaches and recruiters out there. Those are not necessary, and you can find a better camp that costs less. So be on the lookout for some of those money-grabbing camps. And if you ever have a question about that, you can definitely email us, and I will let you know if it's one of those reputable camps. Maybe you should do a little more research before you decide to go to that camp.
Liz, I feel like if you're doing all the things that you've been giving them advice on, the coaches are going to have a little bit more guidance because they're going to care about you and understand that you're looking for what's best. And I think you might be able to reach out to a coach and even express, question, is this camp worth it for me?
Yes.
You might be able to get some good feedback from them.
Yeah, ask your own coach. Your own coach will tell you if that is probably maybe a little high on the money. $350. You don't need to pay that much. So that's your must not do, and at the very least, do research before you pull the plug.
That makes sense. Always want to have a budget in mind, especially if you're going to do multiple camps anyway. You're going to be spending some money traveling and whatnot. So
if you want to do multiple, you want to try to get your best value that you can, for sure.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Heading over to you, group.
All right. So for the Walk-On Warriors segment of the day, I got a couple different angles. One, I wanted to give a shout out to the Warsaw Tigers. I'm in my orange, just representing a little bit. They lost their game to Crown Point, and it went into overtime. They had to fight. Warsaw was down 9. They fought back. They sent it to overtime. But what happened was Crown Point's Dikembe Shaw took over in overtime. Warsaw did not score in the extra period, and he came in and scored 10 of his points in that final period. And it reminded me of a story of my own when I wore orange for the Tarkington Tigers way back in the day.
Oh yeah,
we're playing a game against
orange and white.
Playing a game against those Pearly Foxes. We go to overtime, and what happens? Anybody? It's Dan Tolchinsky. He's there. We're playing, and guess who comes off the bench? Lyrics Watkins comes in and scores 8 points in a row. We could not stop him. He defeats us in overtime all by himself.
First of all, your memory is just a steel trap.
Steel
But-
trap in there.
I would like to, real quick, just give you the first few lines to the Tarkington Tiger cheerleading school song.
Oh my.
Hey, look us over, give us a shout. Tarkington Tigers will win without a doubt. We're really up there, we're number one. So come on, team, we'll come out on top. We'll never, ever come to a stop.
Wow.
And I do know the rest.
That's amazing.
Tell
Tarkington
Melissa
Tigers.
to sing along.
Another school of mine that doesn't exist, but let's move on. Okay. So now the workout portion, I just wanted to point a thing out or two. I had this thought the other day is a lot of people, if you're getting into active sports and you haven't done it for a while, or if you're trying out for a team, or maybe you're a youth just starting out your workouts. I mean, it could go to anybody, but you could develop muscles like on your strong arm, maybe more so than your off arm, or your right leg takes over because you're a skateboarder and you're kicking more. Whatever the reason is, you're a little bit more strong on one side. So keep that in mind when you're working out, is to do some items as isolation, as one side at a time. So maybe you're doing a military press straight up. Well, you could do it with dumbbells and alternate. You're doing the squat, the air squats we talked about, but you could do one leg lunge. You could do these things and make sure you're finding the weakness that you have and working that out. It's going to go not only a long way in like speed and things like that, but injury prevention. You don't want to have like a gait that starts getting hobbly and then all of a sudden you tear an Achilles or an ankle because you didn't work out that left calf, or etc. So that's the angle for that. But since we're talking basketball, hey kids, if you're right-handed, you better be out there dribbling left-handed until your left arm gets tired. Let's get these left-handed kids to start dribbling with their right hand. I don't want to see ring around the rosy in one direction. You can't go the other way. So you don't have to just dribble, right? There's other things you can do to develop that offhand. You could sit there and shoot a couple free throws. Maybe you take your layups on the left-hand side first. You knock a couple down before you even give the right hand a chance. Get comfortable doing the uncomfortable things. And then with all that said, you might have had an image in your head of you shooting that free throw left-handed. And another shout out back to 1990, March 4th, when Hank Gathers passed away for Loyola Marymount. March Madness is coming up. You might see a video. I don't know if they'll still show it, but Bo Kimball used to shoot that left-handed free throw, the first shot. Always gives me chills seeing it. Great team. Comfortable with the uncomfortable and use your offhand or foot.
Some time
That
back
is
in the day, Bo Kimball.
Yep.
So, if you guys watched till the end of our last episode, you would know that I asked a trivia question. And I asked a question to the audience to see if you knew the answer. So the question was, what year did the U.S. first give out a Olympic medal for alpine climbing? And this, did you know, was a part of the Olympics at one point in time?
I did not.
I did not. I just know we've talked about it.
So back in 1922, they sent 12 Brits, 1 Australian, to climb Mount Everest on a Mount Everest expedition. And they posthumously awarded them Olympic medals because they did not.
They did not make it. Okay.
They did not make it back. They had an avalanche befell them. They had to send out another 7 Sherpas from Darjeeling, India, to go rescue them. They also did not make it back. So the medals were given to all 20 of these folks who went alpine climbing in 1920 for this Mount Everest expedition. The medals were given in 1924 posthumously, and then alpine climbing ceased after World War II. Actually, it stopped because we went to, the
It wasn't-
war began, the Olympics stopped, and then they just never started it back.
That wasn't very motivational to hand out 20 posthumous medals, but then World War I kicking off might have had something to do with it.
So that is probably why we don't have alpine climbing anymore. However, we might be able to do a less risky mountain, I'm imagining, than Mount Everest if they wanted to climb,
Yeah.
Mount Rainier. Do your best. But that was the trivia question from last week. And your Olympic trivia.
Nice.
Well, speaking of Olympics, let's talk real quick about Olympic golf. So the Paris 2024 Olympic golf will take place at the Golf National, which is located in St. Quentin and Yvelines, which is 41 kilometers from the Olympic Village. It's just like a PGA Tour weekend. It's a 4-day event. And basically the top 60 golfers in the world, based on the official world golf rankings, will qualify. But
will they participate?
Right. And then there's also there's 60 golfers, and the world golf rankings is where they come from. The top 15 are in no matter what. After that, we have 2 golfers per country. So if there's in the top 15, if there's 4, you can have up to 4 from the same country. So if the 4 Americans are in the top 15, they can all qualify.
Okay.
After the top 15, you can't have more than 2 from a country. So if there's already 2 Americans, 16 through 60, no more Americans. So that's how they space it out throughout the world. And so basically, and it's the same exact concept for the women. And there is no cut. So like in the PGA Tour, you play Thursday and Friday, and then there's a cut. In the Olympics, there's no cut. So it's just that all the golfers get to play all weekend. And so that's the 2024 Paris Olympics golf. Kind of excited about that. I always think it's a good time.
So the top 15 total.
So the top 15 in the world rankings are in no matter what.
Oh, okay.
Then after that, the next 60 are in unless there's already 2 from your country.
Okay, cool.
So you got to be in the top 2 in your country or top 4 out of 15 in your country.
I always like to see a good golf course that I've never seen before, so that'll be fun to watch.
Have you checked the PGA and or the LIV schedule to see if something is happening at the same time where they're going to invite them for some sort of we don't want you to participate. We'd rather pay you $1 million for this purse type of thing.
Right. So the PGA and LIV, they typically, in the past, have been favorable to the Olympics. I'm bringing up their schedule right now.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that everyone who should be competing competes, and on the links, we'll settle it on the links out there.
And as I go through here, August 1 through 4 is the Olympic competition, and the previous winner is Xander Schauffele.
Good old Xander.
So that is a off week for the PGA Tour.
Nice.
Yep. So we'll see the world's best. I mean, you're going to see the PGA, the LIV, and then you're going to see some other guys throughout the world that maybe are on the DP tour or with the real pro.
All right.
I'm not repeating it. My bad.
Oh, you're good. All right, that's a good wrap up. We've got the Olympic golf. We've got semi-state basketball here in the great state of Indiana. Hoosier Hysteria continues. We've got the Final Four for D3 women's and men's coming up, and we're definitely pulling for trying for that D3 men's title. Let's go.
Let's go trying.
Great job, guys.
We just want to say thank you for listening to Settled on the Field. Make sure that you are subscribing, liking, and sharing with all your friends. Thanks for listening.